What's good, YouTube? Fredo King's coming back at you again with another video about EA Sports College Football 25. Tonight, we're going to be reviewing the Dynasty Deep Dive that was released this morning. This is a lot. Make sure that you guys hit like and subscribe. Leave comments down below. I'm going to do a multi-part series to cover everything that is in the blog. It took me several hours to read that and review it and try to digest all the information. The best way we could do it is to try to break this down. So the first thing I'm going to focus on is coaches. Before I continue, I'm going to make sure that I make everyone aware I'm wearing my Army football shirt tonight. Army joined the American Conference Monday, July 1st, so they're now a conference member in the American. Also just want to pay tribute to those guys who are, double dipping. They're playing football, but also getting prepared to serve and protect this country. So a nod to the Army Black Knights, the Army cadets. Make sure that I just have you guys in my thoughts, and good luck this football season in your new venture in the American Conference. Now let's get into this video and this information. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start from scratch. You've got to build your coach. So EA Sports realize that your journey to the top of the college football world starts with your coach. They wanted to make sure and make this dynasty meaningful and allow you to experience the coaching journey that no other sport can provide. They had met with college football coaches and experts and started breaking down real-life coaches on the whiteboard. They wanted to find out what was their identity, what made them great, what was their journey to get there, where they're at today. EA discovered that both current and former coaches broadly fit into three main categories. Some are incredible recruiters, while others are motivators who maximize the potential of their players. And then finally, lastly, there's tacticians who out-scheme their opponents with on-field X's and O's. There's also a number of coaches who don't just fit into one box. They're more of hybrid between two categories. For example, there were coaches who were great at both recruiting and X's and O's. After breaking down hundreds of coaches, two things were loud and clear. No coach was great at everything, and there is no single path to being a great coach. What about the greatest coaches of all time? Well, they gave an example and looked at Alabama. Nick Saban had been doing great, but the rest of the football kind of caught up with the Crimson Tide. And they made a change. In 2013, they brought in a different offensive coordinator, transformed offense, their trajectory, changed their philosophy on offense, and next thing you know, Alabama's playing in 6 of the next 8 national championships while creating multiple first-round draft picks, quarterbacks. All of EA's research and discussions led them to build a coach experience centering on 3 goals. First was just like the real world, no coach could be great at everything. 2, they created a rock, paper, and scissor relationship between coach types with no dominant progression path. So, there's always some kind of kryptonite to each one. You might choose one path, but the other path might have something that's better than them, but they counterpunch and have something that might be better than them. So not one path. Recruiters are great. Maybe a tactician's better. Maybe a motivator is better than tactician. So you have to look at the whole mixed bag. And that's what EA's tried to accomplish here with this information and the way they formatted the game this year. Coach progression is the next step. Progressing your coach starts with playing games. As you play, you will complete coach goals that award XP. Once you earn enough XP, you'll level up your coach to the maximum level of 50 and be awarded coach points. You can use those coach points that you earn to upgrade your coach's abilities. More information is coming later on that. There are 4 coach XP goal categories that can be single game, weekly, season, or career goals. First up is draft. Those guys that want to focus on, they want to go to the NFL, that's what the career is. They have a pathway. So pro draft goals are based on which round your player is drafted in. For example, if your player is drafted in the first round. Now, if you promise your guy that he's going to get drafted, they're looking at being drafted in the first round pick. Just because they go rounds 2 through 7, you're going to end up breaking your promise, and we'll dig into that a little bit later. There's also game goals. Individual game goals range from a single play, maybe like you get an interception or a rushing touchdown. That could be a game goal, to a full game result. For instance, if you beat your rival or beat a top 25 team, or you win a national championship, you're going to be rewarded with some XP, which goes a long way in trying to power up your coach through their journey. Recruiting is another progression. Determined by your success on the recruiting trail, recruiting goals can be specific to a single prospect. For example, if you sign a 5-star prospect, you're going to get XP. Or it could be full season, like, you need to sign the best recruiting class in the country. And then finally, stats. Weekly goals like ranked in the top 10, season stat goals, for example, 4,000 team passing yards, or ranked top 5 in the offensive yards. Those are all things that could award you XP. Another goal could be winning 5 national championships. That's a goal for 30 years. I mean, that's a long-term goal, but probably is going to, result in a lot of XP if you do win multiple championships. The number of times you've completed a goal and your progress towards goal completion can be viewed in the Coach XP goal screen, which can be accessed via the Coach tab in the Dynasty Hub. EA has also added 5 progression speed settings, so you can modify how fast coaches progress in your dynasty. That's pretty cool that you can sit there and change that up. Now, here's a screenshot of the University of Kentucky's head coach. This is Joe Burndown. He has B+ prestige. You're seeing his offensive scheme is a pro style. It even lists his alma mater, Texas State. So I'm sure if Texas State ever offered him a job, that's where he came from before he took the UK job. His defensive scheme is a base 3-4. His job security right now, he's safe. And you're going to see, he's got draft goals, there's game goals, recruiting goals, and stat goals, which we all just mentioned. And it's going to give you a breakdown of what he's accomplished thus far. So, you are going to be able to go into the recruiting hub and look at, information like this as you progress through your dynasty. Each time you complete complete a goal in game, you'll receive a notification in the top left corner of the screen. That notification will describe the completed goal and the reward associated with it. After completing a game or advancing the week, you'll receive an XP summary screen showing your progression to the next level. And that's shown right here. This is Kentucky. We just mentioned them. You see in the up top left corner, they got a first down, so they got 2 XP points, and also threw for a passing touchdown, which is plus 20. So you're always trying to achieve stats that's going to help you. Here's a summary after the end of the game before you advance. Currently, the coach is a level 37 on his way to level 38. He just achieved 1,354 XP. He has 3,356 XP. Next level up, though, 7,400. So he's got some work to do before he moves up. Now, next up is the Coach Archetypes. In EA Sports College Football 25, they have introduced a new archetype-based coaching ability system. You can think of this similar to your traditional RPG classes, where all of your party members have a specific class or archetype in row. Ultimately, in order for your team to be successful, all the players in your party must do their job and work together. Well, they've carried that over to EA Sports College Football 25. All coaches will start with a base class or a coach archetype, which can be thought of as your special ability in a traditional RPG. Just like real-life coaches, the base archetypes fall into 3 categories. You can either be a recruiter, a motivator, which think of player development and program culture, or your scheme, which on the field that translates to X's and O's. From your base archetype, you can progress in multiple ways. You can become an expert in a single category like recruiting, or you become an elite recruiter and excel on the recruiting trail. Alternatively, though, you can become a hybrid coach who is strong in multiple areas. For example, a talent developer who is great at both talent acquisition, quote unquote, recruiting, and player development, motivator. The ultimate goal is to become a program builder or a CEO atop the world of college football. You got to remember, when Bobby Bowden got toward his later stages, that guy was like a boss, like they said, like a CEO. He made the ultimate decision if they were going to punt the ball or go for it on 4th down or, kick a field goal, whatever. But he had an offensive coordinator, he had a defensive coordinator. He let those guys coach and do their thing. But at the end of the day, his job is on the line, so he's going to make that ultimate final decision. So that's what you're trending toward here. You want to be, at the end of the day, the CEO who just sits on top of, the staff, and he can make those decisions ultimately. Achieving an elite archetype like program builder or CEO is a combination of on-field success and ability progression. There is no single formula to reach these situations, though, in these statuses. You'll be able to mix and match different ability combinations and progression paths, leading to strong customization. In total, there are 11 different archetypes, each with their own focus and perks. Together, they form a rock, paper, and scissor relationship where there's no dominant archetype. While there is no doubt that talent acquisition is the most important thing in college football, if you focus solely on recruiting, that could leave you vulnerable in other areas. Remember, no coach can be great at everything. So every decision you make on your coaching journey will matter. Once you purchase an ability, there's no going back. You're not going to be able to go back and respec your coach. So you need to choose wisely. So once you buy those points and you decide, hey, I'm going to go down this path, you can't backtrack. You've made that decision, okay? So there's no going back and taking your points back. And here's a screenshot of that. Select your backstory. You've got a motivator to get your players ready to play their best by boosting their ratings and composure. Nobody has it better than us. That's what they say about motivators. There's also tacticians, which boost your players' ratings on game day scheme, up the big plays, and let the visor fly. And of course, recruiter, I can't see that because it's not highlighted. But yeah, that's just, as you go into this story mode, you got to select your backstory. Now, how do you upgrade your archetype and what does it do? Each archetype has a set of prerequisites and objectives that must be completed in order to purchase them. For example, in order to become an elite recruiter, you have to spend at least 50 coach points in the recruiter archetype and sign 2 top 5 recruiting classes. Once those goals are completed, the archetype becomes available for purchase with coach points. When you create your coach, you will select which base archetype you want to start with. The other 2 base archetypes will then be available for purchase with coach points without the need to meet any additional requirements, though. Once you purchase an archetype with coach points, it unlocks new sets of abilities as well as new opportunities in the coaching carousel. Additionally, each archetype has a perk when it is active. For example, a tactician has the winner perk, and that awards additional coach XP every time you win a game. Your active archetype is automatically determined. If you own Program Builder or CEO archetypes, they will always be your active archetype, regardless of how many coach points you've spent in other archetypes. If you do not own these archetypes, your active archetype is the archetype you have spent the most coach points in. All owned coach abilities are always on, regardless of which archetype is currently active. Your progress can be viewed in the coach ability screen, which is accessible from the coach tab of the Dynasty Hub. Within that screen, you can see all the available archetypes, unlock requirements and perks, and your overall progression in each archetype. As you spend coach points in each archetype, the spider graph in the center of the screen will morph and change your coach's DNA. And then we're going to look at that. Here's a screenshot of that, of the coach abilities. You see head coach, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and they're all going to have this spider web in the middle, and it's going to show you which way you're trending toward on those different objectives, your goals. It says right here in the left, underneath, he's a CEO, big game bonus, additional XP for winning bowl games or national titles. Motivator, he's a culture setter who's strong in player development. Archetype perk, grow together, gain XP whenever a player levels up. Master motivator, have 5 players drafted, is going to give you some bonuses, and also spend 50 in motivator. So upgrade price with 15. So that's one idea there. Now, how do the abilities work? Once you own an archetype, you can purchase the abilities within it using coach points in College Football 25. They have introduced more than 50 coach abilities. Each ability can have up to 4 tiers, and every tier has a purchase cost associated with it. So every archetype, with the exception of Scheme Guru, Program Builder, and CEO, has their abilities broken down by position group. This increases the level of depth and specialization each coach has. No longer is a coach graded recruiting across the board. Now coaches will specialize in specific position groups, making your staff composition that much more important. Are you a quarterback whisperer? Are you great in the trenches and committed to the no-fly zone? How does your staff complement you? In addition to position-based boost, there are also special coach abilities with core gameplay effects, so you can really cook. For example, the Scheme Guru, he'll focus on the gameplay style. So if you're a coach who likes to play fast, you can upgrade fast tempo offense, providing you with the following boost. Battery Pack Tier 1 will say offensive players fatigue slower and hurry up offense. Caught napping, tier 2, you increase delay to defenders looking to the sideline at the snap. On their heels, which is tier 3, the team composure boost for first downs gained while running hurry up. And then finally, if you have tip your hand, which is tier 4, chance to see the defense's coverage shell in hurry up. You could also make your team a well-oiled machine who doesn't work against themselves and is unfazed by rowdy home field crowds by upgrading the discipline and communication ability. On offense, this provides a couple things. Tier 1 is hater blockers. It's a slight reduction in crowd noise impact on the road. Tier 2 is Teflon. That's going to provide significant reduction of crowd noise impact on the road. Tier 3 is polished. Offensive players will commit slightly fewer penalties. And then Tier 4 is clean sheet offense. Offensive players will commit significantly fewer penalties. Of course, balance is critically important. So there are defensive counters to all of the offensive play style abilities. Is your defense looking a little suspect? Or are they tired or getting punched in the mouth by a physical ground and pound team? Upgrade your ground and pound defense to become a stout run defense and reduce the effects of a physical offense continuously running the ball down your throat. The program builder and CEO archetypes are different in that they are only available to head coaches. Your coordinators cannot fit those archetypes. The abilities within them are diverse and range from roster management and program culture to home field advantage and recruiting pipeline boost. Moving on, we're going to look at Stanford's coach's abilities. He's a recruiter. That's his archetype. You see he's poised to become an elite recruiter. He needs to sign 2 top 5 recruiting classes. He hasn't done that yet, so it's still locked, but that's what his goal is ultimately. You see to the right, running game, halfback, fullback, purchase upgrades for recruiting running backs and fullbacks. Advanced look running back. Running backs take less time to fully scout. He's already advanced tier 1. He's also advanced through tier 2, which is most influential. Recruiting actions give a bonus to running backs. He's now trying to progress to tier 3, which is always be recruiting. It will increase weekly recruiting hours for running backs. So, you get those 5 coach points and you put it toward that. Instead of 50 hours a week, I think you now get 70 hours a week to recruit running backs. That's a nice little bonus or perk, that if you're in need of a running back and you have that always be recruiting for the running back position, and that could be for any position. It's just right now that's his position group that he's focused on. It gives you a nice little bonus of 20 extra minutes. Also, tier 4 is magnetic personality, increased starting interest from running backs. So that's a nice little screenshot, gives you a little bit of breakdown. Now, what about coordinators? You're going to have offensive and defense coordinators. Both coordinators and head coaches have the same set of abilities and archetypes available to them, leading to a natural progression from coordinator to head coach and increased importance on staff management, where your coordinators either complement your strength or shore up your deficiencies. Remember, no coach can be great at everything, so it's critical that your coordinators complement you. So what you can do is, basically, if you're a recruiter, you can have your offensive and defensive coordinators also be recruiters and stack those, goals. And now you're getting all the recruiting bonuses, but you're going to be lacking on X and O's with tactician. You're going to be lacking on motivator, so you're not going to get those other perks associated with those. I'm thinking probably I'm going to go the route of recruiter as head coach, tactician for my offensive coordinator, and a motivator on defense. Or you can flip the offensive and defensive coordinators, but that's what I'm thinking. I want probably to try to hit every area. Maybe be a jack of all trades, master of none kind of type, for the staff. All your abilities your coaching staff own will stack together, increasing the effect of an ability. So abilities owned by the head coach have the greatest impact, obviously. The impact of coordinator-owned abilities depends on whether or not the ability is related to their side of the ball. For example, a defensive coordinator having quarterback icy veins ability, which boosts your quarterback composure at the beginning of the game, is going to have a way much smaller effect than the offensive coordinator owning quarterback icy vein. Your coordinators will automatically progress their archetypes and abilities. You will not be able to control which abilities they purchase, nor will you be able to respec your coordinator's abilities. This adds even more importance to how you progress your coach and manage your staff in the coaching carousel. You can view the abilities your coordinators own from within the coach ability screen by tabbing left and right with the LB-RB or L1-R1. Each coach will have a unique spider graph based on the abilities and archetypes they own. Pressing R3 will overlay all 3 coaches' spider graphs so you can quickly see where your staff is deficient. And we see that here, coaching abilities. Head coach, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, you see the head coach's spider graph. He's a master motivator, can get anyone to run through a brick wall for him, basically. Archetype perk right now is Let's Grow, bigger XP gain whenever a player levels up. So, you see right now his XP is a B-. Anyway, I'm going to end this video right now. That's we're about 21 minutes in. I'm going to come back with a part 2 to finish this up. But yeah, that's where we're at. This is going to be the part 1 of this series. I'm going to go through everything in the blog, try to break it down. Make sure that you guys hit like and subscribe if you enjoy this video. We're going to come back with some more information later on. So I'm leaving off right now with Stanford with the Master Motivator. We come back, I'll be on slide number 16. Comment down below. Let me know how you guys feel about this. I'm very excited about recruiting for sure. But anyway, Fairy Kings, and I'm out.